we gonna talk about this today because what I saw today in Philadelphia was absolutely unacceptable, man. And yeah, let's get right to it. I'm also gonna talk about the Spurs and Blazers, and because that series is over, uh, yeah, that series is over. Yeah, cue the intro. Can y'all explain to me what the hell I just witnessed tonight in South Philadelphia, man? Downtown Philly. Joel Embiid comes back, and you let Peyton Pritchard tear you to shreds, my dog? What the hell was that, man? Like, oh my goodness. The first quarter, it was competitive for a good like 7 minutes. First 7 minutes, all right, it was competitive. It's all right, and then all of a sudden, Peyton Pritchard starts bombing threes, bro. Peyton Pritchard starts bombing threes. Jason Tatum also comes in. Nemius Queta gets him started. I don't even know what to say. It's not that I want the Celtics. Well, I want the Celtics to lose because I'm a Laker fan, but It's the thing that Philly, as soon as they got 14 or 13, that was like, that's when the sadness started to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because they allowed so many second chance points, bro. There was a possession where the Celtics got like five, six offensive rebounds, and I think Peyton Pritchard gets a three. And then there's another possession where the Celtics get another offensive rebound. They kick it out. Baylor Shireman hits a three. Jaylen Brown hits a three. Derek White hits a three. And it's just like, this is just absolutely embarrassing, bro. This was just absolutely embarrassing. Let me look at this damn box score because, my gosh. I didn't even watch the third quarter, well, a good amount of the third quarter because I thought, okay, they're down by like, what, 18-ish points, I think. At the end of the first half, it was 38 to 56. Okay, maybe Philly might have a run on them. They can cut down to like 10, make it a little interesting. And then all of a sudden, I turned the TV back on, and these bums were down 73 to 43, or something like that. Something like that. But it got to a point, man, where it's just like, bro, these dudes in Boston, they were just playing street ball at that point. They didn't even need to run plays. It's just like, all right, Peyton Pritchard, here's the ball, cook. Jason Tatum, start cooking. Jaylen Brown, start cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, look at these stat lines. They shot 24 threes. Shot a I don't know if this is the highest they shot the three ball all season. I know Boston is a high volume shooting team and they take so many threes, but they shot the ball crazy efficient tonight. 24 of 53. Meanwhile, on the other side, Philly was 9 of 30. Tyrese Maxey hit most of those threes. He hit seven threes. Paul George was perfect from three, but whatever. And Joel, yeah, he had 26 and 10. He had a good game. And I will give Embiid this. He did play like he wanted to care. I mean, everyone was a negative on the Philly team. I mean, Adem Bona was their only positive plus minus, and he was a plus four. Kelly Oubre Jr. or minus 31. Paul George minus 13. Joel Embiid minus 25. VJ Edgecombe minus 14. Tyrese Maxey minus 22. Bro, this was just all around bad. And then Quentin Grimes was their leading bench player with 12 points. Meanwhile, Peyton Pritchard outscored the whole entire Philadelphia bench. That is embarrassing. How the Sixers came out, I didn't expect them to win, but holy helly, man, play with some damn pride, dude. Like, why the hell are you guys giving up so many second chance points? Andre Drummond, dude, oh my god, bro. That dude is absolutely useless. I've always had mixed feelings about Drummond. He once upon a time was a good player with the Detroit Pistons, made his way to Cleveland, played a little bit on my Lakers in 2021. I forgot he even was on my Lakers, and he didn't do anything then too. You know what I'm saying? bounced around from Philadelphia, Brooklyn, couple years in Chicago. That dude's absolutely trash, man. I cannot believe what I saw from this dude, Andre Drummond, tonight. I know he's not the primary starting big, but in 5 minutes, oh my goodness, he picked up a stupid flagrant foul. And here's what, here's something that does drive me up a wall though, because DeAndre Ayton was ejected tonight in Houston because of the fact he literally did the same play that Drummond did to Jaylen Brown. How are you gonna call that a flagrant one, but you called DeAndre Ayton a flagrant two when they both did the exact same thing? They both elbowed their opponent in the face. Drummond elbowed Jaylen Brown in the face, and the worst part is, I think Jaylen was mid-air, and then DeAndre elbowed Alfred Şengün in the face as well, even though Alfred Şengün was not in the air. How is one a flagrant two and one a flagrant one? I don't understand. The math ain't math in there, bruh. It's so damn obvious. That was just terrible. That was just a cataclysm of what went wrong for the 76ers in game four. There's really nothing to talk about because all in all, it was just Boston absolutely pounding. I don't want to say that. There's nothing much to say. It was just Boston absolutely demolishing the absolute hell out of the Sixers by shooting the lights out from three. They got every single offensive rebound. Let me look at the stats again because I lost track of how many offensive rebounds they got. Derek White had four offensive rebounds. Peyton Pritchard had one. Vucevic, Shireman, Hauser, and Keita had two. And then, wow, 14 offensive rebounds to six offensive rebounds in all. And the overall rebounding battle, man, 30 or 51 to 30. Boston won the rebounding battle. They were quicker to the ball than Philadelphia. You would think with Philadelphia having Embiid back, they'd have a sense of urgency. They would play like at least how they did Game 4 a few years ago when James Harden was on the squad. They lost Game 3. They kept it within single digits. You felt like Boston was going to pull away. And then James Harden hits a big-time three to help Philadelphia tie the series and then eventually go up 3-2. And they, of course, lost that series. But it's just like, this is so embarrassing. How do you come out and you allow so many offensive rebounds? And you want to know how I knew the game was over? Did y'all see that Peyton Pritchard three where he jumped off of one leg at the end of the quarter? He jumped off his right foot, shoots the three, and he makes it. Peyton Pritchard was lighting up the freaking Sixers tonight. Embarrassed all of Philadelphia in Philadelphia. Embarrassed the whole city, the mayor. Hell, the Eagles. He embarrassed the Phillies. Every bit of Philadelphia sports was absolutely humiliated by Peyton Pritchard, and then you add Jason Tatum. They freaking put on a show, and I gotta give it to Boston, man. And this is what I've been saying about Boston the whole entire season. Even when Detroit had their, or yeah, even when Detroit was like the first seed in the East, I've always said that the East truly ran through Boston because they have a great development system. They are consistently winners. And no matter what you do to game plan for them, Joe Mazzulla always counters with a game plan of his own. Like I said, in all my videos I've made about the Celtics, I have been critical of Joe Mazzulla, especially in years past. I was critical of him last season when he went back to what I didn't like at all about the Celtics. They were just heaving threes for no reason. And then they bricked all those threes against the New York Knicks. He did the same thing in 2023 in Game 7 versus Miami in the conference finals when they came back down 3-0. But outside those two games, or playoff series, I should say, Joe Mazzulla is a consistently good head coach. I really have a lot of respect for the guy because he has these guys ready. Joe puts out a game plan to neutralize another team's game plan. That's why I don't buy the whole thing about, oh, well, Cade and the Pistons have a lot to match up with Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and the Boston Celtics. No, they do not. They're struggling against Orlando as we speak. Essentially the same Orlando team plus Desmond Bain. The same Orlando team plus Desmond Bain. The Magic are making them work. And then last year's Magic team, before they added Desmond Bain, they had KCP, Contavious Caldwell-Pope. The Celtics made easy work of them in five. Now, I understand a lot of those games were single digit games, or at least like a 2, 3 of those games. But still, Boston made easy work of them. So if you look at how Detroit is struggling against the Magic, how are they matching up with Boston in that sense? Because Boston has a lot of guys that can beat you. Baylor Shireman, he's not doing any of this stuff. Like being a really solid 3-and-D player with a lot of length, he's not doing any of this stuff on a team like the Sacramento Kings, the Philadelphia 76ers, the LA Clippers. And in truth, I don't think he does this with the Lakers as well. Because look, the Lakers, they're not the most developmental happy team. You know what I mean? They don't have the type of developmental system in comparison to a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Boston Celtics. Yes, I know we have Austin Reeves, and he's developed into a great player, but I would say he's more so an anomaly because Austin Reeves, from what I saw in that Dallas game in the 2021-22 season, I just knew that guy was a keeper, and that guy was special, and he was league ready. So he's an anomaly. But all the players we've had in years past, from like Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and all these other cats, Josh Hart, these guys flourished once they left the Lakers because the Lakers were all about winning now. They didn't really have they don't really have or they've never been known to have a great development system. Yes, I know we had Kobe and all that, but again, guys like Kobe and Austin Reeves are more so anomalies, if anything. That's just my opinion. You guys could disagree. And I'm saying it respectfully as a Laker fan because I know we've been consistently good as of late, even though we lost tonight. But that's not important. Baylor Shireman is not doing any of this on any of those teams. He's not. He's become one of their consistent snipers throughout from beyond the arc, outside of Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser. Neemias Queta is a starting caliber big. When a few years ago, when he was under Mike Brown and the Sacramento Kings, he didn't even have any freaking playing time, bro. And you see Queta being a difference maker. And yes, Joel Embiid had 26 and 10. Queta made him work for those buckets. And it didn't help Joel Embiid was injured either, but I think Queta would have made him work either way. So the Philadelphia 76ers had to blow it up. Daryl Morey, or not Daryl Morey, Daryl Morey's an idiot, but Nick Nurse, oh my God, your pick and roll defense is terrible. You're putting out the same tired ass lineups that have cost you a lot of ball games this year. And it's just like you run the same offense. It's just Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, VJ Edgecombe are bust. And that doesn't work in 2026, bro. The Sixers have no ball movement. They have all their actions that they run under Nick Nurse is predictable. And this is why I said in my Jared McCain video, Nick Nurse does not know how to run an offense to save his life, and he can't coach an NBA team unless you have a prime Kawhi Leonard and a prime Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby, Norman Powell, all them cats, aka the 2019 Raptors. And even then, that was just more so Kawhi just having the run of runs that honestly nobody expected. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. This was just a terrible, terrible series for the Philadelphia 76ers. But it's an overall great series for the Boston Celtics. But again, I didn't really expect Philadelphia to win the series because I don't think they're contenders. But god dang, bruh, these dudes came out sorry as hell, man. Oh gosh. And then game 3, bro. Game 3. They were within a few possessions. I think they had the lead at certain points in the game too in the fourth quarter. Okay, you're down 103 to 100. You need a stop. You get the stop. Now I was about to curse. Get the damn backboard. Get the rebound. They gave up an offensive rebound to Derek White, who kicks it out to Jason Tatum, and he has freaking Adem Bona on him. Bona is, like, I don't know how I feel about the guy. I haven't watched too much of him, but when I did see him play, he's a good scrapper as a big man, but he's just way too underdeveloped, and Nick Nurse is just throwing him out onto the fire when it's just like it's clear as hell, or it's clear as day, that he doesn't know what to do out there. He's guarding Tatum, and Tatum just pulls up for 3. And that was game, set, match, and series, set, match, Boston. Jeez, man. And let me look at the box score for game 3, and I gotta rewatch the highlights too, because I may or may not have touched on some certain topics on in this particular video. But yeah, Derek White had 11, Jason Tatum had 25, Jaylen Brown had 25, and then Tyrese Maxey had his arguably best game of the series. 31 points for Maxey. I don't know what he had in game two, but I know that was the VJ Edgecombe game. But I kind of expected VJ to come back down to earth because, like I said, I didn't expect too much from VJ because this is more of a learning curve from him, or for him, I should say. And I think he's only going to get better as the years go by. So I'm not going to be too hard on VJ because he is a rookie. So I'm going to come some slack. But game one was just absolutely terrible. The game four was a replica of game one, essentially. I mean, shoot, man. The freaking Boston Celtics came out firing in game one, and the Sixers did not recover. After that first quarter, the game was already over. And then, game two, they responded with a nice win. Tyrese Maxey with 29. And then again, the VJ Edgecombe game. And then we didn't see VJ after that. And Tyrese Maxey spent himself in the last two games. And you got to give credit to the Boston defense. They're wearing Tyrese Maxey down. The bodies they're throwing at Maxey, they're making him take tough shots on the perimeter. And it doesn't help that Maxey is a small guard, but he is really good. You know what I mean? And one of my boys on Instagram told me that the Philadelphia 76ers should trade Embiid because he's holding Maxey back. If you are a Philadelphia 76er fan, what do you guys think of that take? Do you guys think obviously they should trade Joel Embiid in my opinion, but do you guys think if you guys want to build on the VJ Edgecombe Tyrese Maxey duo, should you trade Joel Embiid? Some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. I feel like it would be absolutely necessary, and it's just like the Sixers. The Sixers didn't do themselves any favors drafting Janai Broom over that Yannick Niederhauser guy from the Clippers, or this guy named Maxime Reynaud, who had a pretty solid rookie campaign with the Sacramento Kings. So if they had someone like that, they would really build toward that future. Because we got to remember, Tyrese Maxey is like, what, 24, 25 years old? And he's only getting better year after year. So it's just like, man. And VJ Edgecombe is like 20 years old. This is just absolutely embarrassing for Philadelphia. I keep on saying it's embarrassing, but it's just like words cannot describe what the hell that performance was if you're the Philadelphia 76ers. The freaking Boston Celtics were playing street ball. Peyton Pritchard was freaking dancing on the perimeter with the basketball. Step back threes all over the freaking place, dog. Like, what? What the heck is this? And then Paul George, he had 16 points, but it was a quiet 16 points. Joel Embiid had 26, fine. And then Tyrese Maxey really struggled this game with 22, which is below his season average. Yeah, he was 7 of 14, yeah, 4 of 7 from 3, but again, the Boston Celtics took him out of the game. You know what I mean? And Tyrese Maxey didn't really attempt too many shots because of the fact Boston was absolutely putting him in a box. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. Overall, this is just embarrassing, and Philadelphia should feel embarrassed. I really hope they get off of Paul George and Joel Embiid's contracts, but I said it in my one of my videos talking about the Sixers, where there's an article I did read. Yeah, from what I remember, I read an article saying, yeah, they could trade PG and Joel Embiid, but the thing is they can't because of how untradeable their contracts are. Joel's consistently hurt. Paul George is a great value, or well, he's not a great value. He's basically an glorified Aaron Nesmith. There you go. Paul George is a glorified version of what Aaron Nesmith does for the Indiana Pacers, or at least what we saw. We saw Nesmith did with the Pacers the last couple of years they were in the playoffs. PG's just a glorified version. You pay him. Okay, I can't comprehend it correctly. You know what I'm trying to say. You basically paid him $52 million to be Aaron Nesmith, aka our 3-and-D role player, and PG is not really excelling at that. I know PG brings a lot of defensive intensity, whatever, but he's not doing that here. There was no intensity, no sense of urgency. These dudes play like it was a random Monday night game in Washington. That's how the Sixers played. Meanwhile, the Boston Celtics played desperate, like they were down in the series. They didn't play like they were up in the series. And I can respect teams that played with a sense of urgency and a sense of fight. And I respect Boston for that. I hate the Celtics, but I can respect them for that. I cannot respect the 76ers for putting out that disgusting performance, that embarrassment ritual that they put on tonight. I cannot respect that, bro. Ugh. That is just, I don't even know what to say. I'm just done talking about the Sixers. I hope they get absolutely crushed in Boston, and it looks like they're going to. It doesn't matter if Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George plays. They could bring out freaking Allen Iverson if they wanted to. They could bring back Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler, or they could bring Furkan Korkmaz or Seth Curry back. They could bring Dwight Howard. They could bring all those guys back. Hell, bring Ben Simmons on the squad if you want to. You are not winning in Game 5 in Boston after you got embarrassed in Game 1 and you got embarrassed in Game 4. Absolutely shameful, man. Now, let's talk about the Spurs Blazers series because, yeah, it felt like the Blazers should have been a little more competitive, but this is just more so a testament to how good the Spurs are. Because even without Victor Wembanyama, the Portland Trailblazers had a 15-point lead, and the Spurs came back. I mean, Dylan Harper had 27 points. He came up big in the fourth quarter on Friday night's game. Stephon Castle had 33. De'Aaron Fox had 18 and 6. And then on the other side, Drew Holiday has best game of the series with 29. Scoot Henderson with 21. Denny Avdia with 19 and 9. And then you had Jeremy Grant with 13, Robert Williams with 11, and then so on and so forth. So Portland played hard. Like I gotta give it to Portland. They've been playing hard. The all what Portland's been playing hard this whole entire series, but the Spurs are just too much. This is just a testament to how good the San Antonio Spurs are, bro. And it doesn't look like it's going to get any better because they have to go back to the Alamo on Tuesday night. And it looks like it's going to be a freaking party city up. Excuse me. It's going to be a full on fiesta back out in San Antonio. And then today's game, the Blazers were literally up by like, what, 18 points. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Portland's playing with a sense of urgency. I think this. I was getting ready to talk about what the Spurs should do in Game 5 to avoid being down 3-2. Or I don't want to say talk about it, but talk about it in these podcast episodes. But now they're up 3-1 themselves. Tonight, Victor Wembanyama, who surprisingly, I was surprised that they cleared him from concussion protocol because the way he fell on his face in Game 2 of that series, bro, it was, first of all, that was hard to watch because I think someone told me Drew Holiday. I didn't watch the full play, but someone told me Drew Holiday was involved in that little how do you say it? Drew Holiday was involved in that little scrap. I'm not saying they fought, but I think he collided with Victor and Victor hit the floor pretty hard on his face. But a few days later, he was cleared. And I think a report from ESPN said he didn't have like what do you call it? A concussion, which is absolutely surprising because most players would wake up feeling a concussion, and sometimes concussions can last a little longer than people think because you're sensitive to light. You may feel a little lightheaded. When you move, it kind of like because I've never had a concussion, or I've actually had a concussion before, but I remember landing on the back of my head pretty hard, and I still played, but it's just like, man, sometimes it's pretty painful when you really feel it the next morning. But yeah, today, Victor Wembanyama had 27-12. He had 7 blocks tonight, bro. This dude put on an absolute clinic defensively, and obviously he had 4 steals. De'Aaron Fox led the way. Well, he also led the way, I should say, with 28 and 7. Stephon Castle with 16 and 8. And on the other side, Drew Holiday had 20 and Denny Avdia had 26. Jeremy Grant with 17. Scoot Henderson was an absolute no-show in this series. And if there was something that needed to be said, this was a game where you needed Scoot Henderson, and Donovan Clingan only played 14 minutes. I don't know why Thiago Splitter doesn't play Donovan a lot more. I don't know if Clingan was hurt, because I only watched like select parts of the game, but once the Blazers ran away, the Spurs ran away with it, I just kind of lost interest. So, and there was a play where Denny Avdia was trying to hound Stephon Castle. This is kind of funny. He tried to hound Stephon Castle. Castle was able to break free of him, and he gets an and one. He he shoves the ball, and Denny Avdia and Denny shoved him back, and there was like an all around scuffle, and then there was like words exchanged between Denny and Castle, and I was just like I was actually siding with Stefan Castle because yes, Denny Abdia is a good player, but I don't like him for well. If you guys have been paying attention to what's going on in reality, I'm not gonna explain it here, but there's a reason why I do not like Denny Abdia. But we ain't gonna talk about that. Rusty Buckets has a video covering players that support I'm not gonna explain it here. If you know, you know. But I was just really impressed with how the Spurs looked, and I was very impressed with how they looked playing without Victor Wembanyama because without Wemby, who was the ultimate driving force of that team, I kind of expected the Spurs. Well, I don't want to say I kind of expected. I kind of expect the Blazers to okay, they don't have Wemby for Game 3. Let's put these guys away. But they could never get under control in Game 3, and it's just like if you can't beat the Spurs without Wemby, like you did Game 2, then it's just like how are you going to win the series when Victor comes back? And now they're down 3 games to 1. So I don't know, man. This was just a very interesting night of basketball. And then I think I already talked about I already talked about the Nuggets Timberwolves series, or I'm going to talk about the Nuggets Timberwolves series in my next episode series recap because I have a whole lot to say about that as well. And I'm going to be talking about the Lakers, the Lakers Rockets series, but I'm probably gonna save that for next episode. So this is officially episode 1 of series recap, the new format of series recap. So yeah, man. I might do a lot more experimenting, like doing a little share screen so I can like share what like some stats and some plays with y'all. So it can like spice up series recap for real. But I don't know, man. This has been an interesting day for basketball. Um, yeah. Philadelphia, overall, shame on you. And shout out the San Antonio Spurs and Lakers. You need to close it out on Wednesday. I think we play Wednesday back in LA. But I'm not gonna pay too much attention to that, or I'm gonna pay attention to that. But yeah, more episodes of series recap coming soon. A lot more playoff related vids that are not series recap episodes will also be coming soon too. And what do you guys think? Are the Philadelphia 76ers finished? Do you guys think they should fire Nick Nurse? Do you guys think they should trade Joel Embiid? And if you are paying attention to the Spurs Blazers series, what do you guys think of that series? Do you guys think that, the Spurs are better than people think? Or do you guys think, Portland's kind of beating themselves or whatever, what have you? Uh, yeah, just let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is kind of hard for me to do because I'm actually doing it through a Zoom camera rather than just my typical just talk over like a photo or whatever the hell like I did in the old days. But you guys get to see it, and yeah, this is officially episode 1 of series recap, and I had fun with y'all tonight. So yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Mex deuces.